The KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner, Lieutenant General Ndlela Mkhwanazi, has fired back at National Coloured Congress NCC Member of Parliament Fediel Adams, challenging him to bring it on after Adams laid criminal charges of perjury against him. Speaking on Thursday at the launch of the province's festive season safety plan, Mkhwanazi dismissed attempts to intimidate him following the case opened at Cape Town Central Police Station earlier this week, and said everyone in this country has the right to open a case against anyone they believe has broken the law. I have never been afraid to be prosecuted, and I cannot be afraid now. If Mr. Adams feels he must use that as a strategy to intimidate me, I'm not afraid. We will find each other in the right place. Let it happen. He must bring it on. The standoff stems from Mkhwanazi's testimony before both the Madlanga Commission and ad hoc committee investigating criminality and political interference within the criminal justice system. During his appearance, Mkhwanazi accused Adams of recklessly handling classified state information. He further alleged that former Police Minister Bheki Cele had requested money from alleged organized crime boss Vusimuzi Madlala, a claim he later retracted, calling it an error. In a written retraction sent via SMS, Mkhwanazi stated that his investigative team had incorrectly identified a bank account, leading to the mistaken association with Cele. He also apologized to Cele for any inconvenience or had caused. However, members of parliament objected to the manner of the withdrawal, insisting that Mkhwanazi return to the committee and formally retract his statement under oath. In his affidavit, Adams accused Mkhwanazi of making false and damaging statements that could undermine confidence in the SAPS, and said such statements have the potential to erode public trust in the SAPS leadership and create confusion regarding official investigations. If such false allegations can be made publicly against a minister, other individuals may also be falsely accused without substantial evidence. Adams added that Mkhwanazi's remarks constituted serious misconduct, possibly amounting to defamation or defeating the ends of justice. Responding to the controversy, Mkhwanazi said he would clarify the matter when he returns to the ad hoc committee. He maintained that his testimony was based on information provided by police analysts, insisting that he had spoken not for himself but on behalf of the SAPS, and said some of the information I received came from the police, so if there was an omission or mistake, it will be explained. What I said in July was not about me. As tensions simmer between the outspoken police general and the fiery parliamentarian, all eyes are now on Mkhwanazi's upcoming return to the ad hoc committee, where he is expected to face further scrutiny over his testimony, his retraction, and integrity of SAPS intelligence processes.
I have asked for a charge of perjury to be laid against the Honourable General, because the General came into Parliament and lied under oath. He sends a WhatsApp message, SMS. This is not a WhatsApp group. This is Parliament. You're not allowed to lie here, even if you are the Honourable General. But my issue with Mkhwanazi is since the day of that infamous press conference, this man has not offered an ounce of evidence. It's just allegations, left, right, centre, and the country is lapping it up. Now, if the man has lied under oath, what credibility does his testimony have? And people must remember that the defending team must still come and testify. Mkhwanazi must not take South Africa for a joke. Not all of us are blind. Some of us know why he called that press conference on the 6th. And some of us are willing to tell the truth.
Meanwhile, the ad hoc committee investigating allegations made by KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Ndlela Mkhwanazi at a meeting on Wednesday whittled down the number of witnesses set to appear before its public hearings. This after it was agreed that some of the witnesses could just submit affidavits, while others will be deferred pending another round of hearings, as the inquiry will only run until November 28. The evidence leaders were previously given a list of more than 30 preferred witnesses scheduled for testimony. Chief Evidence Leader Advocate Norman Arendse, Senior Counsel, said they had to select witnesses where necessary in order to address the terms of reference of the committee. Arendse said some of the witnesses were relevant, but they can be asked questions and respond in an affidavit, and said there are other witnesses who are not necessary or there is no need for them to give us information. The committee has sufficient information before it. Arendse also said the head of crime intelligence in the political killings task team, Lieutenant General Dumisani Khumalo, was a key witness, but he will be called by the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry to give evidence for 2 or 3 weeks. Khumalo had been providing testimony at the Matlanga Commission, but this was interrupted after he fell ill. Arendse said, "We are not sure about his medical condition." Arendse named Minister Senzo Mchunu Chief of Staff, Cedric Kabinde, as someone whose name cropped up during the testimony previously heard by the committee. Kabinde is scheduled to give testimony on November 13 and 14. He will be followed by controversial businessman Brown Mokgotsi on November 18 and 19, 18, 19 and 20. SAPS CFO Buleng Timpane will give her testimony on the police finance and budget on November 27 and 28, while Lieutenant General Linio will give evidence on the healthcare services tender on November 25 and 26. The evidence leaders advised that Deputy National Commissioner Dibelo Mosigidi, who was acting National Commissioner when Mchunu issued directives, be asked to submit an affidavit along with others. Members of Parliament want General Julius Mkhwanazi of the Ekurhuleni Metropolis, who was implicated by Mkhwanazi in installing blue lights in vehicles owned by Fusimuzi Cap Matlala, to give testimony, although the allegations emerged at the Matlanga Commission and not at the parliamentary inquiry. Arendse said, "We recommend that this person is not called or deferred to another phase or process."
Thank you.
CBCB. He's a criminal himself. So now I'm getting the correction now. He's a criminal himself. It is. It goes back to the question why are you closing the criminal? I remember when for me to know Sibia, it's because of the old man who died. And he said to me, the old man is dead, and then Naka said, away. So Naka no longer, the general is here, and then. Yes, I'm listening. So, and then I get to go and after the old man as I let it, and then came in talking about money.
Okay, I stop right there.
Witness C, having identified the voices of the individuals speaking in the clip, please then provide a summary of what is being stated, including the portions in vernacular.
Thank you, Commissioners. In short, Witness A was seeking clarity as to how the Mr. Matlala got to know General Sibia, and he indicated that he knew him from the old man he was referring to, Mr. Msibi, that is no more, and General Sibia requested that he take care of him, and in turn General Sibia will take care of him too.
That's a take on this one, people. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.